You know that person who keeps their phone on Do Not Disturb all day, every day. Not just during meetings, not just at night, always. You text them and the reply comes 6 hours later. You call and it goes straight to voicemail, even though you know they're awake, scrolling, probably staring right at the screen. At first, you think it's rude, maybe even a little insulting. But here's the interesting part. Hi, ever wonder why you do the things you do or feel what you feel without knowing why? Welcome to PsychOwl, where we break down the psychology behind every emotion, every habit, every quiet thought you've never said out loud. No jargon, no lectures, just the science of you, explained simply. If you've ever wanted to understand your own mind a little better, you're exactly where you need to be. What if that little moon icon isn't about you at all? If you've ever wondered why someone would rather live in silence than stay reachable, or if you're the one who guards that setting like it's sacred, this one's gonna feel a little too familiar. Because this isn't really about phone settings. It's about control, safety, and a nervous system that's tired of being on call. Let's start with what Do Not Disturb actually represents. It's not a feature. It's a boundary you can see. Most boundaries are invisible. You can't watch someone protect their energy. You can't see them quietly decide not to answer a question or not to explain themselves. But this one shows up right on the lock screen. It's a boundary you can point to. And that's exactly why it feels so loaded when someone else runs into it. Maybe you're not lazy for ignoring your phone. Maybe you're not cold for leaving people on read. Maybe your brain has just learned that constant availability comes at a cost, and it's not willing to pay it anymore. Think about it this way. Imagine your attention is a battery. Every notification is a tiny drain. A text here, a like there, a group chat that never stops buzzing. None of it feels big on its own. But by 3 p.m., the battery's at 12%, and you can't remember what actually used the charge. People who live on Do Not Disturb have often figured something out the hard way. They've noticed that an open phone is an open door, and an open door means anyone can walk in, anytime, with any request, any emergency, any opinion, and expect an immediate response. So they close the door. Not to shut people out forever, just to control when it opens. There's something most people don't realize about this. Constant availability isn't actually a personality trait. It's a nervous system response. Psychologists talk about something called hypervigilance, usually in the context of stress or anxiety. It's when your body stays alert, scanning for threats, even when nothing dangerous is happening. Not everyone who checks their phone constantly is hypervigilant, of course. But for some people, an unanswered notification feels like an open loop their brain physically can't ignore. If that's you, Do Not Disturb isn't coldness, it's relief. It's the one moment your nervous system gets to stop scanning. But here's where it gets a little more complicated. For other people, it's not about anxiety at all. It's about identity. Some people grew up feeling like their time wasn't their own. Maybe a parent needed constant attention. Maybe a job demanded round-the-clock availability. Maybe a past relationship made always reachable feel like the price of being loved. So as adults, guarding their attention becomes a way of saying quietly to no one in particular, my time belongs to me now. That's not avoidance. That's boundary setting. Learned late, but learned well. Now, here's the twist. Not everyone on Do Not Disturb is protecting their peace. Some are avoiding something else entirely. Avoidant attachment is a term you've probably heard thrown around online, sometimes accurately, sometimes not, but there's a real pattern underneath it. Some people learned early on that closeness comes with risk, that being needed or needing someone else ends in disappointment. For people like this, silence isn't peaceful, it's protective. Do Not Disturb becomes a wall, not a boundary, and there's a difference. A boundary says, I'll be available on my terms. A wall says, I'd rather disappear than risk being let down. Both can look identical from the outside. Same icon, same silence, same unanswered texts. But only one of them is actually healthy. So how do you tell the difference? Ask what happens after. Someone with a healthy boundary eventually responds, engages, shows up, just later and on their schedule. Someone using avoidance as a wall tends to stay gone. The silence isn't a pause, it's the whole strategy. Here's another layer most people miss. Do not disturb isn't just about other people. It's about the version of yourself that exists without an audience. Every notification is, in some way, a tiny performance request. Reply, react, explain, justify, engage. When that stream shuts off, something interesting happens. You're just there. No audience, no obligations, no pressure to be interesting, responsive, or on. For a lot of people, that silence is the only place left where they get to just exist without being observed. That's not antisocial. That's self-preservation in a world that never stops asking for your attention. Research on attention and cognitive load backs this up. Every switch between tasks, including checking a notification, costs mental energy. Constant interruption doesn't just annoy us, it actually fragments our focus, our mood, and eventually, our sense of control over our own day. So when someone protects their silence fiercely, they might not be pulling away from you. They might be pulling back toward themselves. Of course, like most things about the mind, this isn't one size fits all. Sometimes do not disturb is healthy, a quiet, deliberate choice to protect focus, sleep, or peace of mind. Other times, it drifts into something less healthy, a way to avoid hard conversations, a way to disappear instead of communicate, a way to punish someone with silence instead of setting an actual boundary out loud. The setting itself isn't good or bad, it's just a tool. What matters is the intention behind it, and whether it's used to protect connection or to quietly end it. So if you've ever felt guilty for guarding your silence, maybe it's worth asking yourself something. Are you protecting your peace, or are you protecting yourself from being seen? Both are valid starting points. Only one of them tends to keep people close. And if you're the one on the other side, waiting for a reply that takes hours, maybe it helps to remember this. Silence isn't always about you. Sometimes it's someone else finally learning how to hold on to their own energy in a world that constantly asks for it. That doesn't make the waiting easier, but it might make it a little less personal. Maybe the goal was never to be reachable all the time. Maybe it was just to be reachable on purpose. If this sounds like you, or like someone you know, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Do you keep your phone on Do Not Disturb because it protects your peace, or because it protects you from something else? And if you've ever wondered why some people can disappear for hours without a second thought, while others feel anxious the moment their phone goes quiet, that's actually a completely different psychological pattern, one we're going to get into next.